Well, good day, everybody. This is Danny Halmo for EVs Forever. This is our fifth in our series of podcasts. This one is entitled The Skinny on EV Mining and Recycling. A recent Facebook post noting the 250 tons of ore that it allegedly takes to mine just one 1,000-pound EV battery triggered me to do the research into how much ground we need to dig up for another one of our favorite ores that we have been mining for much, much longer. But nobody ever seems to mention this when it comes to comparing what it takes to create an electric car, or that it is less harmful to dig a hole than drill one, considering what we get out of it. And many of us covet this other one on our finger, wrist, or wrap it around our necks, and one stable penis even plated his own toilets with it in the form of 24-karat gold leaf. Apparently he seems to think his shit is made of gold bars, which also means it don't stink. Lucky me, I live upwind, and upriver too, which also means I already shit in his drinking water, even if he can barely hold up the glass. According to some estimates, the 500,000 pounds, 250 tons, of material it allegedly takes to mine enough base elements to source a single 1,000-pound or 1 ounce per 500 ounces EV battery doesn't even come close to what it takes to mine a similar quantity of gold. But before we cast too much shade on that issue, let's compare that math to highlight the differences between the two. Depending on the gold content, you can extract from 0.05 ounces of gold per ton, which is 1 ounce per 20 tons, or 640,000 ounces, to 1 ounce per 100,000 ounces of gold-laden ore, which is just over 3 tons. But that is a very rare and exceedingly rich find, considering that 32,000 ounces is a ton, means that the comparable 250 tons of gold-enriched soil that could possibly make one EV battery would allegedly generate from the small numbers 12.5 to the big and extremely rare numbers 80 ounces of gold worth 23.58 an ounce Canadian. That calculates to from $29,475 to $188,640, while a 1,000-pound EV battery is approximately 75 kilowatt hours, and at roughly $101 per kilowatt hour is worth a paltry $7,500. So what the hell are we doing building electric cars when clearly our wives should be driving fancy new diamond rings instead of Teslas? No matter, 1,000 pounds of gold, 16,000 ounces, would still take a maximum of 32,000 tons, 320,000 tons, to as little as 52,000 tons of soil extraction to produce, which is of course much more sought after, damaging, and valuable, and could produce from 208 to 1,200 electric car batteries instead. But funny how nobody seems to mention that or put it into perspective on the EV naysayer side. So all of that shall remain for now, just between us. The bottom line is that gold is from 104 to 640 times less efficient to mine pound for pound, but lithium will always remain at least hundreds of times more valuable to get you to the jewelry store and back on for roughly 4 cents per kilometer. It just doesn't look as pretty on your finger. However, that 1 ounce of gold makes on average 87 rings, 1 gold coin, or 0.036 burial masks, according to King Tut. Which brings us to recycling. Battery recycling isn't the only area of hot topic discussion, interest, and concern these days, as the average EV also contains 40 to 100 kilograms of steel, 250 kilograms of copper compared to the less than 20 kilograms in an ICE vehicle, and a considerable amount of other recyclable materials, as they start off needing as much as 6 times as much of some of the raw materials of an ICE vehicle, which are primarily 65% steel. But even despite our growing appetite for recycled metals, it is currently estimated that there is enough available nickel and lithium to produce up to 14 million EVs in 2023, and almost all of it brand new. Some other very important things to consider are that since so much of our EV technology is so new and the materials used to build them are so different from traditional ICE vehicle supply sources, obviously our initial mining footprint for these fresh, raw, unusual materials will be front-loaded until a larger supply of available recyclable resources are stockpiled and will begin to offset the strain on mining brand new building materials. This makes two things happen. One, the recycling technology advances in quality, efficiency, and cost effectiveness. Plus, as time goes by, our new material supply chain, carbon footprint, will gradually taper off and the damaging effects of mining on our environment gradually reduce in parallel to this. Well, obviously, we still have a long way to go in terms of many of our material sourcing and environmental stewardship areas, but we have only just begun to seriously explore EV development on a mass scale, such that we are in the midst of today. Except for hydrogen head cases, Honda, Hyundai, and Toyota, literally every other automaker on the planet with an ounce of common sense has committed to producing electric cars immediately, while those three are reluctantly joining us at gunpoint. Several have also promised to discontinue producing any more internal combustion models within the very next few years. Literally hundreds of billions of dollars are being invested in EVs and battery recycling by manufacturers from every sector, from America to Europe to Asia, but especially in Norway, the global leader in EV adoption and battery recycling, with a project called Batman for battery management to deal with the full circle of life of batteries. So clearly the writing is on the wall for big oil, but that they're free money for all but our party on us is finally developing the Kodak and Fujifilm, and I, for one, flashed out early 11 years ago. But don't worry, folks. Every previous transition in personal mobility took decades and were all fraught with their related challenges, especially in their infancies, like our EV baby is right now. A 10-year-old infant still crawling on the floor with poo-poo in panties and just trying to figure out how to walk. So as good parents, we will need to keep a vigilant watch over our kids to keep the bad influences, bullies, and naysayers away, so our babies can grow into the big, strong 300-year-olds they were already destined to be. Even though his adolescence will likely take 30 to 50 years, all the other transitions in personal mobility basically did too. Only this kid will pay off a lot longer and not kill everything in the process. This message has been brought to you by the author of my book, The Ninja Mutant History of Electric Vehicles, and all content is based on subject matter found within. It is currently available on Amazon in Kindle or paperback form, and I appreciate you stopping by. I'm Danny Halmo, and this has been EVs Forever.